Hey everybody, it's Tim hitting the beast of the marching arts. We are live and I'm here with the wonderful Paul Richardson. Paul, how are you?
Life is good, my friend. How you doing, Tim?
I'm great. It's wonderful to see you. Paul is here representing LCL Mentors because they are one of the sponsors of one of the four $1,000 scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away to DCI marchers this year in 2022. So Paul, thanks for being here representing LCL Mentors.
Oh man, I couldn't be more excited about what LCL Mentors is doing, about this scholarship, just all of it, man. It's right in the wheelhouse of everything that I just believe in and stand for in this whole activity. So really happy to come out here and just talk about it for a minute.
Awesome. So if you're watching this, whether live or recording, thank you for watching. Let us know where you're watching from. Put it in the comments. And we're talking about the DCI scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away. So if you know or a marcher, if you're a marcher or you know a marcher in 2022, anybody that's in a DCI drum corps is eligible to apply for this. You can apply between now and next Tuesday. So we're getting down to the very last 6 or 7 days here of the application process. Anybody's welcome to apply. Just go to marchingartseducation.com. Right there on the first page is a big graphic about the scholarship. That'll take you right to the application process. Just fill out some questions. So we're asking that, one, you have to be a marcher this year. You can be in any section. So we're giving out 4 scholarships to anybody from any section. And then we're also we're asking that they plan to be a marching arts educator, because that's what we do here at Marching Arts Education. And Paul, I feel like that's pretty much everybody, because if you're motivated enough and you love marching enough to be in a drum corps and to go to all the trouble to march, which is such a great experience, well, then you're probably going to want to go back and be an instructor, work with a local band or a color guard or something, give back to the activity by sort of helping out.
It's kind of baked into the culture of the marching arts world, right? Like you go out, you perform, you get this expertise, you get taught by these amazing people, and then you learn all of those things and you kind of want to give back. And pretty soon you're also one of those amazing people that's continuing on in this cycle. So yeah, I feel like it's very, very natural for people to, come out of DCI and then want to teach. And, obviously there are music programs all over the place that are in dire need of people who not only know what they're doing musically and technically, but just culturally and fostering all the leadership and all of the different, non-music things that this whole pageantry arts world stands for. So yeah, I love to see everybody give back, and I think most do.
Right, and that could look like lots of things. We're talking about the 4 $1,000 scholarships that Marching Arts Education giving away. Paul's here from LCL Mentors, who's one of the sponsors of those scholarships. So thank you, LCL Mentors, for doing that. And Paul, I think some people are actually going to be like band directors, make their career as educators. Some people want to be full-time color guard designers or instructors, percussion designers or instructors, or both, or whatever. But a lot of people, just like you said, maybe just want to help out. Go back to your local high school or your own high school and just say, hey, do you need an extra pair of eyes? I can tell you, everybody, nobody's going to say no. Like, no, we don't want this DCR marcher to help my band get better. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a lot of fun too. Like it really is. You just came off a summer, or maybe came off a summer, and maybe you take a fall off to get your bearings. But yeah, to go back and do something that you've got your thousands of hours of experience on, and and people who are just starting out, going on the same road but a little bit farther behind you. It's fun, and it's a lot easier than you think. So if you're out there and you're marching, you're like, teaching's not for me. You know what? Just go to a rehearsal, check it out. You'll be surprised how much you enjoy it. And to be honest, like that same concept as you continue to go on. One of the things that I love about the LCL Mentors is that whole concept of, if you're a little bit farther ahead on the road, look back and give somebody some tips, some pointers. You can be of great service up to somebody else, right? Which is the whole concept of mentoring and coaching that LCL Mentors is all about. There's some fantastic people as part of that LCL Mentors program. I'll let you go and look at the website and check everybody's bios. But there's some people who've done some just absolutely amazing things and had these very storied careers. And they're around to, I guess, help you understand the road that you're about to go on. Right? There's the old saying: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's that whole concept, whether that's coming off of DCI and just helping your old high school, or if you're continuing on, if you're going to go be a band director somewhere, there are people out there who have done what you're about to do and can show you where the pitfalls are, can show you, where the clean path is and the ways to be successful. So whether it's LCL mentors or something else, I highly encourage whatever you're doing, find the people who've done what you're trying to do and seek them out and ask them.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right?
No, it really is. And we're talking about the 4 scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away. $1,000 scholarships to 4 DCI marchers, and LCL Mentors, who Paul's here representing, is sponsoring one of those. So thank you so much, LCL Mentors, for that. Paul, the concept is and if you listen, all of us that have ever taught know, if you've ever tried to be in charge of anything, much less be a band director or a teacher or anything, like you're gonna, some things happen and you're like, I don't know what to do. like what do I do now? Or how do I figure this out? And you need somebody like on speed dial, you need somebody that you can pick up your phone and go, okay, man, well, this just happened. And please give me some advice. I've never been in this situation before, or I don't know how to handle this thing with this parent, or I don't know how to handle this thing with my administrator. You need to have somebody. Now, a lot of people, Paul, have somebody, which is awesome. Like if you start your career, you have that go-to person that you can call. That's wonderful. But a lot of people start their career sort of out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, they'll assign you a mentor from your school or whatever, but they probably don't know anything about like the inner workings of a band booster club or how to fix a problem with your clarinet section, whatever. You need to have somebody in your field. And that's the concept behind LCL Mentors. There are people that are giving back, ready to help you figure that out. Because Paul, like you've probably been in situations where you knew I need to call somebody.
Yes. And usually can I just stop there and just say yes and we'll move on? No.
Okay. I thought you might tell a heartwarming story about from a mentor that made a difference in your life, but it's really okay. Well, I didn't want to talk about the time you ended up in jail. No, not that ever happened to anybody.
Well, no. So here's what actually happened. It was one of those moments where, you asked that question and I had literally like a dozen examples hit my brain all at the same time. They collided and nothing came out but yes. Yeah, there's so many different times have I been in a situation and needed some help. And the majority of the time, if you look around and ask, you can find somebody who's been through what you want to do. But where we all get in trouble is when we try and lone wolf it and go solo, and some part of the back of your brain says, if I can't solve this problem myself, I must not be very good at this. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. Right? Like actually one of my biggest regrets from the time that I was a director of Gateway Percussion, there was a topic that I wanted some help on, and I still have this in my drafts in Gmail. It's a letter that I never sent asking for help. And I keep that there as a reminder to never, and I was just afraid, right? I had that imposter syndrome. I'm like, man, this is somebody from a director from a gold medalist ensemble. And I've come to know this person, years later and found out that email would have not only been welcome, but would have been received with open arms. And we'd have probably been on the phone, within a couple of days. And so I keep that there as just a reminder, like I'm not alone. That impulse to lone wolf it is usually wrong. And on top of that, just, I didn't send it out of fear. And so I keep that again. That's what we all have, like these little totems that to remind us of different things. And that's one that I collected. Again, it's still there. That person doesn't know that letter was never sent. One day I might send it and say, hey, this is what I should have, reached out for 10 years ago. But yeah, and it's that exact concept, right? Like you just ask.
Well, the thing is, you want to have a safe place to ask too. That's the nice thing about the mentor relationships, like at LCO Mentors or whatever your mentor. Because one of the problems I had when I was a young band director was I was afraid, as you sort of said, I was afraid that all my students would find out all the stuff I didn't know, and I was very nervous about that. Now I realize that the more you can just say, I don't know that, I'm gonna figure that out. I'll make a call. Like people don't expect you to know everything, but I was very insecure about that when I started. But like I said, you need to have somebody that you can trust, that they're not going to belittle you or make fun of you, but you can call them and go, I don't know what to do. And they'll go, that's okay. Let me help you figure this out. You need that kind of relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it where to ask and who to ask does matter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, we're talking about the 4 DCI scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away. We're sort of talking about a lot of stuff here, but I'm here with Paul Richardson, who's here with LCO Mentors. Who's one of the sponsors. You can go to lcomentors.com and find out more all about all that. And Paul, I think it's awesome that you are now a part of the LCO Mentors team. Tell me, like why did you want to give back in this way and be a part of LCL Mentors?
Wow, great question. So, one of we kind of like talked about earlier about giving back, about people coming off of DCI and wanting to educate, and that's something that I've just kind of embraced in my time, going all the way back to when I was marching, and that's something that I've just, on a personal note, brings me a lot of joy to use some of the experiences that I've gained in the last couple decades in this activity to help those who are kind of a few steps behind me on the road, or traveling a path that I've traveled, or one similar, right? So when I discovered LCL Mentors and reached out and started to meet the team, I'm like, man, this is exactly where I need to be. Everybody there is of the same belief, right? The service is a part of the core values of everybody that I've met on LCL Mentors. And making themselves available for this is it's not something that they have to do. It's something that we all want to do, right? The group that they put together at LCL Mentors, I don't think there's any gaps, right? Whatever it is, whatever situation that you're like, man, I don't know what to do here. Somebody's been through that or knows somebody who does, right? And it's been a pretty great experience so far. I think I'm one of the newest mentors on the team. It's been a pretty great experience so far, just to be in the room with that much experience and hear those conversations. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, and Paul, you wear a lot of hats because you've done a lot of things. You're like a financial guy, you're really good with money and helping people with their money, but you've been the director of an indoor drumline group. You've been a marcher, DCI, you've done a whole bunch of stuff. And of course, you were part of the Paying for Drum Corps. You helped develop that course. Well, you developed the course, and I sort of helped get it out into the world to help people pay their dues. So everybody go to payingfordrumcorps.com. You can find that. Of course, you can find it on the website at marchingartseducation.com. Paul, are you going to be helping people with financial stuff at LCL Mentors or other things too?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Right. Like that's, that's one of the things that I've discovered that I'm more comfortable with than a lot of people in the activity is I'm very comfortable talking about money. Like, let's bring the budget out. It doesn't scare me. Right. And so, yeah, I love, those are fun for me. So yeah, I love to, work with individuals, with programs, with whatever. And let's just take a look at where the money's coming in, where the money's going out. And, let's reduce it down to math, and then it's not so scary and easy. And then we can go spend more time teaching. Right. So, that's something I love to do. Also a lot of strategic planning and I was very fortunate to be with working with a really high caliber staff and a world-class program for a lot of years. And so, we kind of learned from a whole lot of people. A lot of the people that were on staff at Gateway are people that I would actually also consider my mentors at one point or another, just because we were very fortunate to kind of play in that world-class space where you've got some of the best minds in the activity. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to share the things I learned from those mentors, even about how to, effectively run a rehearsal and those systems that are in place, the communication systems for a very high level staff. Spent, a decade and a half working with that stuff too. So, I want to talk about all of it, Tim. Like, every time we get together, I feel like we're off in 1,000 different directions, and I love everything about it.
No, it's very cool. And what's interesting too is, we talked about you need a mentor sometimes to talk about things that are uncomfortable, or you don't know who else to ask, or who would know about this. And I feel like, Paul, the stuff around money and budgeting and like setting that all up, that's not something our culture or our activity is good about talking about. So I could see myself being a band director saying, I need to sit down with somebody that I can trust, that's not like maybe in my school or in my program or even in my community, and just have this conversation and get some advice. So that's why I think sometimes it's nice to have a mentor who's sort of a little bit removed from where you are. Yeah.
I mean, literally even something as small as, hey, can I get a second set of eyes on my budget? Yeah, just go to LCL Mentors and we'll set something up, and happy to just take a look at a spreadsheet and go down and ask you 4 or 5 questions and either give you some confidence or some pointers to go through, and all the way through, a lot more heavy lifting, I guess, on the financial side as some programs need. But yeah, like that's the kind of, like, that's why LCL Mentors exists, right? Everything from, hey, just to check in on this, to ongoing mentorship, to even some there's some staff trainings and facilitation of staff events that's going on. Like there's, any way that you can think of to use the level of expertise represented at LCL Mentors. I think that's a conversation that we'd love to have.
Yeah, and we're talking here today about the DCI scholarships that we're giving away at Marching Arts Education. LCL Mentors, who we're talking about right now, is sponsoring one of those $1,000 scholarships. And talk about budgeting, Paul. Like there's going to be 4 students who are marching this summer who have a little bit of breath of a little bit of sigh of relief, knowing that they're going to get $1,000 paid to their core for their dues. I love being able to give back in that way and to know that we're helping somebody's dream come true, because it's not cheap to march in a drum corps. Of course, think what you're getting. You're traveling for the whole summer. You're getting instruction every single day. You're getting these fantastic performance experiences. Actually, compared to like a week of soccer camp, it's actually really a pretty cheap thing. But when you look at the big number of the whole summer, it can be a lot of money to raise, which is why we have the Paying for Drum Corps course, but also why we're really happy to be giving these scholarships. Yeah,
and I would just encourage anybody listening to this who's marching, whether you're applying for one of these scholarships or not, whether you're actually one of the 4 to receive it, because $1,000 scholarship is going to go a long way to help with dues, but it's not going to cover everything, right? The Paying for Drum Corps course was kind of designed for all of those situations, and really just based on experiences that I have had and others have had that I'm aware of students who actually use different strategies and different tactics out there to pay for their DCI experience, right? So hope everybody has a chance to check that out. I think it's an hour, a little less than an hour and I think well worth the investment. And the hope is that everybody who's marching that would like a little help, a little assistance in that area. That's why we recorded that course, so you can so you can check that material out whenever is appropriate for you.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You're going to be spending all this time trying to figure out how to raise this money. If you take an hour and you get strategies, then the time you spend after that is going to be time better spent. You're going to know how to write that letter, which businesses to approach. You don't just throw up a GoFundMe and send up some incense. Like you got to have a better plan than that. Paul, I want to hear a little bit about we're talking about drum corps here. We're talking about the scholarships for DCI. Tell me about your marching experience. What did you do when you were marching? Where did you march? That kind of thing. I'd love to hear about it.
Oh, wow. So I'm a quad drummer by trade, and I marched 2 years with Blue Stars, and then I aged out with the Blue Knights. And that was back when Blue Stars were actually, before they were what is now world class. They were Division 2 and 3 is what it was called, which is now kind of combined to open class. So I kind of got the whole gamut and got to march some smaller corps into a full size group. Wonderful programs, wonderfully run programs, still are to this day. Even some of the same people from when I march are still involved at both of those programs. It's great to see. So. Really, really happy with my time there. Obviously, it's shaped kind of the rest of my life going forward. And even the one summer I did get to teach drum corps at Magic of Orlando. I see you're wearing some looks like some purple from my screen, so bringing me back to the Magic days.
Yeah, that's very cool. I love those Magic of Orlando shows, and it's wonderful what drum corps can do for you. And I love that you had that experience. Quad drummer, man, that's awesome. That's
it was awesome. My back doesn't think it's very awesome now. Thankfully, we've come a long way with the technology, both in the equipment and marching technique and things. It's a whole lot friendlier to your spine than it used to be.
That is absolutely true, and we're preparing the marchers, I think, a little bit better for the season than we used to. Listen, everybody, we're here talking about the 4 $1,000 scholarships that we are giving away at Marching Arts Education. Just go to marchingartseducation.com. Right there on the main page, it says apply for the scholarship. It'll take you right there. Anybody who's marching in a 2022 drum corps, DCI corps, is available to apply for that. And then there'll be 2 rounds of voting where each of those people that's applied will try to get as many people as possible to vote for them. The second round includes more of like a scholarship panel as well as the voting. And then we get down, we'll be giving the awards out, those 4 scholarships out, announcing them on Monday night, April 25th, here on the socials, just like we're doing right now. So I'm really excited about that. Paul, you're here representing LCL Mentors. LCO Mentors is sponsoring one of those $1,000 scholarships. So again, on behalf of, you're representing them today. So on behalf of them, I want to say thank you to them for doing that, for giving back to the community in this way and helping a marcher have a better season. So everybody go to marchingartseducation.com. If you know anybody that's marching, please encourage them to apply. There's, anybody can apply this marching, and it's a way that, who knows who's going to win. Paul, what do you want to say as we're ending this conversation?
I am so freaking excited about DCI this summer that I don't even know what else I was supposed to say to promote anything, Tim. I just want to see some drum corps, and I'm really happy that you're able to provide this outlet and for these scholarships and just literally any small drop in the bucket to help this DCI community that's been along with so many other communities the last couple of years. It's been hard, right?
Yeah.
So this just looking at how everybody's shaping up and my friends who are still out in the DCI world, like there's a lot of excitement for this DCI summer. Man, I made the mistake of not getting my finals tickets on day one, and they're harder to come by this year than ever, and I think that's a great sign. So,
and we forgot to mention, of course, it's the 50th anniversary.
50th anniversary.
I mean, come on, it's such a big deal. It's 50th. We've been waiting for this forever, and finally, we're going to have a regular season for it. By the way, if you missed it, I had a conversation with DCI Executive Director Dan Atchison. Such a great guy. He's sort of herding all the cats, shall we say, of all the different drum corps. And you can find that. Go to Marching Roundtable podcast and find that conversation. It was really interesting that he talks about special stuff they have planned. There's going to be like a special museum with lots of old uniforms and memorabilia and stuff. It's very cool. Of course, there's lots of special stuff planned for the 50th. And there's an alumni corps, the Blue Coats Alumni Corps, because it's their 50th anniversary. I mean, there's going to be a whole lot of Blue Coats on the field.
I got a couple of friends who are literally they're practicing now. They've been practicing for months to try and get back into drum corps shape. So I'm super excited to see that too.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. So anyways, a lot going on. We're excited to be able to do our part. Paul, thank you again for talking to me today. And on behalf of LCO Mentors, thank you to them for sponsoring one of these $1,000 scholarships. Everybody go to marchingartseducation.com to find out more about that and apply. Paul, it's always fun to talk to you. Thank you for spending this time with me today.
Always fun to talk to you, Tim. And man, let's go. Let's get some drum corps.
All right. Thanks, everybody.